Have you ever felt like life is just happening to you? Like you're just reacting to a bunch of random events day in and day out? Well, today we're going to look at a totally different way of seeing things. A perspective that suggests there's a hidden structure, a hidden set of rules to almost everything we do. It's time to pull back the curtain. Let's jump in.
So, on one side, you have the world as most of us see it, kind of chaotic, unpredictable, just one thing after another. But what if the reality is what's on the other side? What if every single interaction, from a job interview to negotiating with your landlord to even a family dinner, is actually a strategic game? A game with rules, players, and stakes.
And that brings us to this really powerful idea from our source material. It's framing games theory not as some boring academic thing you'd find in a textbook, but as a real-world tool, a cheat code, a way to finally see the mechanics behind what's really going on.
So what is this cheat code really? Look, it's not about doing complicated math or trying to predict the future. It's much simpler and way more powerful. It's about developing a new kind of vision. It's about learning to see the whole game board while everyone else is just staring at their one little piece. Okay, let's make this super practical. Game theory, for our purposes, is just the ability to look at any situation and instantly spot three things. One, what are the rules here? The spoken ones and the unspoken ones. Two, who are the other players and what do they want? And three, what's at stake? What does winning or losing actually look like? Think about asking for a raise. The rules are the company's budget. The players are you and your boss. The stakes, your career growth and your bank account. Just thinking about it that way changes everything, doesn't it?
And this really gets to the heart of the source's whole point. The logic is crystal clear. If life is just a series of games, big and small, then understanding how those games work gives you a massive advantage. You stop being just a pawn on the board and start becoming a player.
Which of course leads to a pretty interesting and honestly kind of provocative question. If this way of thinking is so powerful, so fundamental to just doing well in life, why isn't it common knowledge? Why don't we learn this stuff in school? No, seriously, think about that for a second. We spend years learning about historical dates and complex equations, but we never learn about the basic strategic dynamics that run our careers, our finances, and even our relationships. Well, the source we're digging into today has a very bold and pretty challenging answer for that. The source points out how this knowledge just seems to be missing from the places that are supposed to get us ready for the real world. And it argues that this isn't some accident or oversight, it's on purpose. Because they don't want you to realize when you're losing. The argument here is pretty stark. It's just easier for any system, any company, any power structure to operate when most of the people involved don't even realize they're in a game that might just be rigged against them. Okay, so that's a pretty heavy thought. But instead of getting bogged down in the why, let's switch gears to the how. How can you, starting right now, begin to see the scoreboard in your own life? How do you actually use this so-called cheat code?
And what's so wild is that the first move isn't about learning some super complex strategy. You don't have to become a chess grandmaster overnight. The single biggest, most game-changing step is just awareness. Simply acknowledging that you are in a game, right here, right now.
So how do you do it? Well, the source lays out a pretty simple 4-step playbook. Step 1, name the game. Are you playing the get a promotion game or the negotiate a fair price on a car game? Step 2, who are the other players? Your boss, the salesperson? Step 3, and this is the most important one, what does winning actually mean to you? Is it more money? Is it more respect? More free time? And finally, step 4, and you gotta be honest with yourself here, based on your definition, are you winning? The second you start to see the world through this lens, everything shifts. You're not just reacting anymore. You're watching, you're learning, and you're getting ready to make a conscious, strategic move. The power starts to shift back into your hands. So let's look at that full quote one last time because it really ties it all together. It kicks off with this huge promise, a cheat code to master life. And then it ends with a pretty chilling warning about why that code is kept under wraps. It's an entire worldview packed into one sentence. So here's the crucial thing to remember as you go about your day after this. Don't get all obsessed with trying to win every single little interaction. That's not the point. And honestly, it's a great way to burn yourself out. The real first move is something way more fundamental. It's about making a conscious choice, a choice to see the game
and then to engage with it on your own terms. Real power doesn't come from winning all the time. It comes from the awareness that you have a choice in how you play in the first place. That is the ultimate cheat code. And that's where we're going to leave it. We've talked about the idea, we've broken down the framework, and now the controller is in your hands. The game is on. So now that you can see it, what's your next move?